Greetings and blessings. My name is Dustin Dunbar. Hopefully you're following me by now on my Facebook page, The Universal Consciousness, or my YouTube channel, The Universal Consciousness, or my brand new website, theuniversalconsciousness.org. See, I believe deeply in these lessons that the universe is always working. And in this lesson, I'm going to talk about the law of polarity. So we learned in the previous video of the law of relativity that everything is relative to our experiences. There's no such thing as a good and bad experience. It's just how we perceive it. Now, this law of polarity kind of ties into that, saying that there's an opposite side to everything in our world. Now, you cannot experience pain without knowing what pleasure is. You do not know what you have to experience sadness in order to know what joy is. That pretty much sums up the law of polarity, that everything exists and has an equal and exact opposite to it. Now, some might think the law of polarity and duality are the exact same thing, but one is in our physical realm and something is nothing more than a two-dimensional belief system. See, the first thing about duality is it divides, and it's either one thing or the other. You're either right or you're wrong. You're either good or you're evil. You're either black or you're white. What does that sound like a lot, right? Our news. That sounds like our news and the perception that they're trying to force down our throat to get what they want their collective consciousness to be. Now, the first thing about duality, like I said, is it divides. And we have come up to these conclusions by our physical perceptions, and then we judge them. And then we judge them, and that creates what? Yes, that creates conflict. And that creates conflict. See, duality has this us versus them mentality. And when you look at duality, there's a positive and negative conflict with everything. But the law of polarity is quite the opposite. It's saying that there's a positive and negative charge that attracts each other. What does that sound like? It sounds like our Mother Earth with a north and a south pole that are working in harmony to create life. Now, the law of polarity is this force that is always working together to create balance. But duality is this belief that there's these opposing forces that are conflicting each other and creating chaos in our world. See, when duality divides things into this black and white perspective, including whatever you want to think, but polarity is this full spectrum of everything in our full universe. See, duality takes this limited perspective and draws a line and cuts it in half. And what we think is bad is nothing more than what our projection of that experience is. But what can be bad for one person can be good for another. Like Carl Jung would say, thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge. When we judge what bad is, it just says that perception. See, when we change our perception and we change the way we look at things, the way we look at things change. That's from Wayne Dyer. See, we have to have this, opinions and how we change our reality, right? And the reason that people believe in duality is because they create this limited perspective, and it judges upon this limited perspective. And you look at this limited viewpoint, and you can only see in this peripheral view, and you can't see anything else. So then you make assumptions about the whole thing. So duality is a choice. And it gives you the opportunity to make decisions concerning on whatever your previous experiences were. Now, but the secret of the universe does not create things in opposing forces. It works in divine harmony. Yes. So in order to succeed, it's the same thing. You have to work with yourself in divine harmony. Now, in order to succeed, you must fail. In every fail lies a potential success. See, we need to recognize this, that success and failure are just the same thing, just on different sides of the scale. So what you need to do is change your thoughts. Change your thoughts and focus on what you want to attract into your world. When you do that, you create more. Like you can attract acceptance in your life, or you can have the opposing force, which another video I did was resistance. Yes, you can have resistance, but whatever one you want to bring into your life is what you're going to bring. Now, we need to accept failure for what it is. Yes, the building blocks of success. And when you see that failure and you resist it though, then what energy are you putting into the universe? And you are attracting that same thing, and you'll never experience what success is. Okay, so the Buddha had taught some of his monks the sutras of duality. And that helped them to avoid, immoral conflicts and achieve some spiritual growth. But to others, he taught them something called non-duality, which was a lot of them thought was profound and scary. But the few of them that were able to see past that, achieve something called enlightenment. So, things might be scary, and you have this dualistic point of view, and it's nothing more than an illusion. It's an illusion and a paradoxical type of thinking. And it's almost like talking about awareness. Awareness is nothing and everywhere all at once. So, as you can see, you are the conscious creator. You are the one that has a simple choice to either choose duality or choose the law of polarity. We have this choice to manifest what we want in our world. If we understand the difference between the two, we can make a conscious choice. And that's why I'm making these videos, so you can understand the difference between these two, because they're very confusing and they sound a lot the same, but one attracts and one forces out. Now, I have a question for you. Now, how do you feel about duality and how do you feel about non-duality, i.e. the law of polarity? See, what do your emotions tell you? Do you feel blissful all the time, or are you frightened and scared? Remember, whatever you're creating in your world is what you're putting in your world. So, in this lesson, I hope I expose some new concepts that make up really great debate material. See, I personally believe that duality and non-duality are the frameworks of your mindset. And we only limit our perspectives by how we see the world. See, some things between us and truth and absolute reality and something that's called your mind. Now, we each have this experience, and we have to experience things in different ways. And we only come to the conclusions of these things by little in our lives. And then we come up to conclusions. Now, we've taught that duality is in everything and that it revolves around something that conditions us. And it's what we call these mental formations, and it's this dualistic terms. Now, what I'm trying to teach you is to train your mind. Change your thoughts, change your world. You hear me say that all the time. When you keep a positive mindset, you can change your life and you can grow and create better experiences in your world. Now, when you have this dualistic viewpoint, what are you doing? You are creating and blocking the manifestation process with resistance, and you're not able to grow and get what you want in this world. See, the choice has always been ours. The choice is yours. What are you choosing? Since, guess what? Yes, you are the conscious creator. Hopefully you're following me by now. If not, please subscribe to my channel or follow me on Facebook or on my website, theuniversalconsciousness.org. You guys have a blessed day.